and the summer being so short, it's like it's like a season of just everybody being happy.
Yes.
On your page.
Yes.
And then you could be happy too, but because as much as you have social media, you're looking at everybody else, and it's like sometimes social media, you'll compare yourself, and then it's like, I'm not as happy as that person.
I want to be on a jet ski.
I want to be at the parties.
That sounds like. I mean, even without social media,
right?
That would be something that would still happen regardless.
Right. And for me, I also believe, like, it's one of those things, but I do, like, for me, I was just saying in regards to social media, like, I would say sometimes I think it's a part of life where it's like you're questioning the process.
Right.
Because you're like, man, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Or then you think to yourself, am I doing everything I'm supposed to do?
Right.
And then it's like literally time goes by so fast to the point that you're like, wait, August is like 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Something that shocked me, like, recently, sorry to interrupt, like, I was listening to something, like, maybe like a, you know, academics just drops clips and just, like, commentates and whatever.
Are we really referring to academics? But okay, yeah.
No. It just happened to be, like, what I was looking at.
Yes.
But it was, like, the conversation was something. And then the person was saying, I'll be 40. And I went,
Not
to be like, I was like, wait a minute. I'm
40
in 7 years.
like
I'm gonna be
years.
40.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, yo.
You're like, what? Wait, what?
You're
like, wait.
For me, that reflection usually happens
one of those
when it's summer, and then when it's tax season. And you look, it's like, oh, I made this much this year, and where did it go? Where? For what? All for what? To barely make it now. So, I mean, funny. I think the biggest encouragement is, I would say, is like a lot of people are not where you are, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't want to be where I am. It's a tough thing to go through. I get it, but maybe it's a seasonal depression thing. Is it like because I always heard like, oh guys, get your vitamin D supplements together.
Ooh, I'm not touching that
again. The sun's coming down.
I will take the
sun.
sun.
And I'm like, okay, but I'm still. I mean, no matter how much vitamin D pills I take, like my balance, my chickens and my savings be looking kind of malnourished. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how healthy you're eating. If your finances are not there, like that takes a toll on the body.
Yes, and the mind.
You know, and you know, but I guess it's just, I don't know.
It's a lot going on.
I get it.
Like I was saying to Z earlier, like if I were to go to uni now, graduate, I'll be 37, and even then, there's no guarantee you'll get your anything, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's so crazy? I think it takes a toll even more on creators and innovators.
Of course.
Because like in order to get where you need to be, literally, it's like you're doing for so long something for free.
Yeah.
Especially in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, I had a discussion about it. Like,
crazy,
these people in the States,
talking about this.
These TikTok, all that stuff, they throw money out of them. And I don't know if it's the Canada government or whatever, but they don't give us half of that. Not even half. And maybe it's because of the taxes or whatever, or maybe we're not doing enough to support our own. But, like
I said, like, for those listening and watching, when you look up the requirements you need for a grant.
Oh, trust me.
It's like
it's crazy.
Like, and here's the problem: there's not enough structure or resources for that to even happen.
Like,
and even if it does, it's like you have to literally sell your soul. Like,
like, and I think that for the people who are on the board. For the
There are
people who
always
are on the
people on the
board,
board.
they're probably thinking to themselves like, "Oh, that's probably it's not that big of a deal. Like it's not that hard." But
Not that
then,
hard.
but when you're looking at somebody, maybe like, okay, maybe it's a minority group or an undeserved group, as they would. These are the terms they use, or like people who are in low income or in high risk environments or have like no actual outlets or opportunities within their immediate community, immediate environment. And then when they finally do stuff and they do it on their own and develop and craft these things out of their own like searching and researching, the hurdles to even meet the requirements or the standard that is being asked from these grant applications, like
And the
what?
harsh reality,
Yeah, like
there is some click underlining themes in that thing too. You know, you can have all the requirements and still not get it
Still not meet
because
it. Mm-hmm.
not know this guy,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes it's not what you know or who you know, which is a good thing, but sometimes that's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Because
And then
when they turn around and say, "Oh, we were only able to give this amount of money and we couldn't give it to anybody else," really,
like what?
really
Huh?
interesting. I
but
wonder
that's the thing.
why.
And then I'm in the States, and it's funny because I'm in the States, and it's like the abundance of resources,
That to be
but
handing
it's
out left, right, and
like,
center.
but the problem is, they're like, you gotta be American. We're not gonna
Oh,
give no Canadian person.
See,
We don't want Drake to get through the streamline or like Drake Tory Lanes
which
the
is
weekend. We like y'all, but we don't like y'all.
which is fine. Like, which is fine. Like, I get it in the sense that you want to have the patriotism, and in itself, that is actually a good thing because they're saying to us, we want to support our own. That is what that is saying. No matter what, it's like we got the money. We're here to give out the money and dish it out, but we are going to give it to ours.
first, yeah.
Yeah.
If Canada
first.
could have the same energy, that would be nice.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
'Cause I think
mean,
Canada kind of is in a sense because I don't know, like I don't know how implemented it is, but you know how the whole Canada news thing is being banned in the States and all that
yeah. I
thing.
sent.
The news.
I
Yeah.
noticed it a little bit,
Oh,
like in
yeah,
the
for sure.
socials, like when
Yeah.
I'm in the States and my locations in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed a little bit, but not enough to say, oh, you know, it's super banned or anything. Like you'll still find
Content.
Canada
Yeah.
Wait a
news,
minute.
but like
An epiphany. I think YouTube been doing that,
What?
like banning. Cause I know, like, okay, if you upload something on YouTube, right, you can choose which country views it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So like, I know on mobile, if you try to like play a video, being not available for your country.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind, a lot of these
So
people, like, I think another issue to it was like the US people, they're paying US news companies to have their stuff on there. You got to pay them to put it up. And Canada, we're just doing it for the free ads.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it kind of is like, no, they're not trying to do that anymore. So the way I see it is like, I do think Canada needs to work on their, I would say, in regards to podcasts, their podcast structure. I would say in regards to that, and somehow put some money in that.
They need to learn how to do
And they're-
business structure. Period.
and their film
But-
structure, because right now they're all on strike. I'll get into that later, but that strike
Yeah,
though.
everything's on, but that's the thing, because you know, Chat GPT can write a script.
Chat
quicker
cannot
than
do
one.
a thing.
So I
No,
mean,
they
we're,
can't.
We're chalking everything on, putting everything together, which is crazy. But
You know what's so crazy?
I understand the depression still. I understand the depression.
What's crazy about that is that we are literally finding everything to blanket and cover than actually solve the problem itself.
I mean, like in terms of like,
Just almost everything. Here in Canada, I just feel like we blanket everything instead of solve. Like,
in right.
solve so we can get to another level. Like, there's still going to be problems at every level.
Right.
But why are we here just settling for a blanket?
The way I see it, nobody really wants to work. No one really wants to work and put out. Like, I just seen about the whole refugee people in Toronto, like because all the shelters are closed. crazy that it's a certain color that's always outside, but
That,
nevertheless, they're showing that there's people in refugee status that are stuck outside. All the shelters are closed. We can build shelters.
wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Can
This
do that.
sounds
We
this sounds
can
like a
build
familiar
shelters.
convo
What was I
that
saying?
we talked about before. I mean, wasn't someone building shelters and they
Shelters,
got
and then they got. This is what I'm saying. We can solve
We
problems,
can solve the problem.
but we choose to take on blankets. Like, what is the issue? You have a whole man that was capable, and able to give you one short term, easy and convenient housing
Temporary
unit.
issue.
but it's not up to code. But
Figure it out to get to
funny thing
code.
But
The funny thing
that's
is,
the excuse to
he
give
did
him.
it up
Right?
to code. He did do it up to code. He did at one point. He did, but then
They
they
want-
did something. Apparently, they did a partnership, but I haven't heard from that guy again since.
See, that's the
And then gone, right?
what episode was I'm going to look at.
I haven't heard from that guy again since.
But then here's the other joke. So you have certain people who are doing stuff like that for homeless people, right?
Right.
Cool. Maybe let's say it's a zoning issue. The urban plotters are like, this man is building too many of these things and scattering them around Toronto or wherever, that they need to actually be affiliated because there's no address to them. There's no actual location or postal code, X, Y, and Z. Say these are the reasons.
But I just came here.
But yet, at the same stroke, the government is offering and paying people to go and build houses
Right.
in Northern Ontario, in Center Ontario.
Or the green belt.
Exactly. So then you have certain guys who are like this gentleman here doing that, providing housing and actually doing it with his bare hands. And you can't give him the same money to go and develop something over there?
I mean, like,
The way I see it, it's and that's the thing.
2 and 2.
The way I see it, they say we're in a $1 billion deficit apparently. So they say,
Well.
and they got to make that money back.
Well.
I mean, the way sometimes
But-
I do feel like
but material aside, I paid for wood. Pause. I paid for wood for $6 the one day, and now it's $15.
well,
I paid for a concrete bag, and now it's $10 a bag.
Well, I already made that statement. It's because we don't have an. You know what? I actually made this statement to somebody. It's because we do not have a manufacturing hub here. And we don't have an industrial hub here. That is our
the way
issue.
I see it,
All this
sometimes it's very weird.
karate
because
chop this fly.
The problem is also like, here's the thing. It's gone to a sense where it's like, okay, we can make a manufacturing company, but
Can we please start with
we shot ourselves in the foot because
How?
a lot of people don't feel like they want to work manufacture. I don't want to manufacture. I want to be the owner of the manufacturer. I'm like, bro, you have no money. You can't
But
even
the thing
follow.
is-
How are you gonna lead?
So, but the other part too is, do people actually understand what manufacturing is?
And a lot of people don't know that. How much people are trying to be entrepreneurs and don't even know how to work, bro? Have you ever? You know what gets me mad about a boss? A boss that doesn't know what the work ethic was to work in that position.
You're saying they were
And because
You're saying they were hired through nepotism?
what?
They're-
Not even nepotism. Sometimes it's like, okay, I've studied how to. You have a degree, but you have no experience. But here's the problem: there's a lot of people that have degrees with no experience.
This is true.
Right.
It's a weird twist that like
It's
there
not.
has to
It's
be
not.
something.
It's not, because you know why? It's the call. I could tell you what it is. I could tell you what it is. Oh, this is gonna get me so upset, but I can tell you exactly what it is. Because people here want to cut corners. They don't want to actually do the work. And the reason why I can definitely say this, and I'm gonna talk to the camera for this one. When I was in school getting my education, literally a lot of the things in the projects that we would get, whether it was group projects, individual or independent projects, a lot of people would actually just copy the stuff from somebody else, or whoever was a person who was there prior to and was already enrolled in that class, had the same professor. They would just give their work to that person, tell them, go over, review it, whatever, take whatever you like and go. Sometimes they would even know what the professor's stance was, and therefore just write to the professor's liking, and that was it, and would never challenge it. That was it. So because people knew how to scam the system, bend the system a little bit, instead of actually creating new ways, new fundamental ways and finding out and discovering, because that takes too much time. That's the reason. So Toronto, and especially when I can say in every class that I was in, out of a 30 group of people, 20 people were doing that.
20 of the 30?
In every class that I was doing. So if 20 people of every class that I was doing, that was what they were doing, where do you think, and what do you think those people are going to be like in the workforce?
It's a lot of mediocre people, man.
All right.
I went to college, and I studied whatever I studied. And from the time I asked the professor, okay, this is how it's supposed to go, but how does that happen? And the professor looked at me and said, I don't know, they just do it. And I'm like,
that's it.
They who? From then on, I said, okay, I am going into the mud because I need to know how this works. And a lot of people don't want to go into the mud. But you got to have the experience in the mud sometimes. A great leader was always a great servant.
Right.
A great king was always a servant first. That's why you have people that just, living off the king's thing, Trudeau, and they don't know what it's like for people that work.
Right.
The man's flipping burgers, throwing BD again signs at the same time. You think that guy knows how to get it out of the mud? He probably put it on his face.
That's wow.
But it doesn't mean he knows how to get out of the mud.
I heard that's good for pores, though.
I mean,
putting
mud on
sure,
the face. But it's made for pores, but not a disguise, or for Halloween.
Or,
but at the end of the day, the way I see it is like, it's depressing. It's depressing, but at the same time, like,
it's the mouth breathing.
Sometimes I wonder. This is how I feel. Sometimes I feel like everybody's going through the same experience, no matter what level it is. But is everybody willing to work together to change this? I don't think a lot of people are working together, want to work together to change this. Because I think sometimes you see certain communities, they work together to change this. If we want something to happen, we need to work together to change this. I get the way I see it, you can be, for example, you could be a straight black person, and you can be a black person in the community. For some reason, I don't know how it happened, straight people and the community, as much as there is, LGBT differences, there is tension in that sense. But at the same time, before you say whatever you identify as, whatever you say who you are black first. And
unless I'm Honduran.
Okay, sure. But, I'm black. I'm Dominican, no black. But the way I see it, sometimes you gotta put your differences aside for the greater good for your race or for whatever. That's for everybody. You might not like that person might not like you. But hey, if the issue is poverty, we have to work together to stop this.
Right.
If we're going through the same, listen, we don't need an alien force or something for us to now look at each other and like we have to work together for all of us to survive. Why does it have to be something that detrimental for that to happen?
I mean, we saw COVID, and that. I mean, what did COVID tell us? That didn't really unite anything.
COVID told us.
I mean, it kind of did, and it kind of didn't, because like those who were getting the extra money because they already had the plan, they strategized and used it effectively.
But a lot of those guys bottomed out too. They bottomed out hard.
Right.
That last serve check hit. They like 6 months. They're out of here.
Right.
They're like what?
Stunting.
Right. Other people were on vacation. They used it as free money and played with it. Right. Did all the things that they desired. Excuse me. And took it as full advantage of like, okay, I'm gonna live my life. This is the one time I'm ever gonna get this. So like, I might as well live it.
Yeah. But what you should have did was get that certificate. What you should have did,
put it aside. But like, these are things.
But I guess it's not taught, right? It's
right.
not taught.
We can't tell other people how to live their life and how to have their lifestyles.
You know what I'm going to do starting today? I'm going to tell people how to live their life and use their lifestyles. Because right now, this ain't working. This free for all isn't working. You got Big Sexy at a high school trying to perform Pound Town allegedly.
Oh.
Like at a high school.
Sexy Red.
Or Sexy Red. That's a Big Sexy. That's Kevin Nash. Pause. But anyways.
Wow.
Now I messed up the names. It's Sexy
Red.
Then you got the strike going on, and the rugged thing about the strike too. The exec that said it was like, I don't care if they lose their homes, they'll come back. I'm paraphrasing, but
that sounds like
that,
they are living off of passion.
Like,
listen to me.
That's what that sounds like.
When that guy said that, I said, "Yo, this is crazy."
Lack of humanity.
So because currently it's now the writers on strike since they say for 3 months now. I was like, it's 3 months, but that really shows you, right? Now the actors have joined.
The brick. We didn't even realize how much these guys split the brick to like multiple. When they're saying, "All right, you could write for this, but you're on HBO, but you're not," and we put this HBO show on Netflix now. You can't get any money off of that.
Yeah.
Technically, it's not on HBO anymore. It's HBO Max, and it's like technically it's not HBO Max anymore. It's Max.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, these guys are chopping this up.
This girl, she was talking. There was an interview that I had watched, and the girl was saying like sometimes she's like it's the inconsistency as to why they're a part of the strike, right? For her, and the reason being that she's like you could be with a show for like 4 to 6 and that's it,
right?
And you don't get work for the rest of the year because you're signed to the contract for 2 years. So you actually actively work for 4 to 6 weeks, but signed to the 2 years, and you are exclusive to them and cannot go to anybody else.
What exclusivity?
Yeah.
Is.
So imagine if 1 year you only work 4 to 6, you work 2 months out of 2 years.
Yeah, roughly.
And all your money is based off of that.
Someone was showing me their royalties for like some of these actors. What is it? One of these actors from Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
Her
And there was
royalties
another
was on like 40 episodes. She's getting like 20. Here's the thing.
It's like
the
1
problem
cent,
with that
$1.
thing that she posted, I don't know how much she was getting before. Because I'm not watching Orange is the New Black now. So you probably were making money before.
Right.
But now you're saying 20 cents. And that's the thing that makes it a little bit more suspect in a sense. Because it's like, yeah, I get it. That you're probably not making money now, but then they said they earned what, like 11 million because it was like an exclusive Netflix show. You probably were making money then, but I don't know that. We just don't know.
It's like with geez, it like slipped my mind, but it's another. It slipped my mind. I think I was referring to another show where they got signed to an exclusive. See, this is part of the midlife crisis. I had something in my mind. And it magically just zipped out like.
Well, that's how.
Oh my goodness, man!
You're scrolling too much TikTok.
Nah, man.
Your attention span is going out the middle. Like, think about it.
Oh
TikTok,
my goodness! Not gonna think. Oh, give me some time, guys.
Hold on. TikTok is about to make their own streaming service, their own like music service, apparently.
Oh.
You know what's gonna happen to Spotify? You know what's gonna happen to certain people then? Because people are not blowing up on Spotify and all these things anymore. They're blowing up on TikTok.
On TikTok, yeah.
They need 10 seconds of your song, and then that's all that you're going to know for the rest of your life. I don't know anything of the song, but I know what it is, what's up. I know that part.
Wow.
What used to be the chorus.
Basically.
So then, I like how it's going down, though, because like before, you sold a CD, and then it's like, here's the money, exchange it, boom. Then you go with the record label. They take their cut. They give you the money from that. Now it's like digital with Spotify, and you're getting paid 0.0003 cents.
How do you
play, though?
No. Stream and not even make a mil
per thousand play?
Crazy.
You're getting a third of a penny per thousand. Z and James. Now that TikTok is coming in now. I bet that's going to be 0.0000003 cents.
But then again, maybe they can afford it. Who knows?
Who can afford it?
No. But let me tell you something.
See,
if they just say, TikTok could just make the power moves and say, look, you get 2 cents per stream. Out of, you know what I mean? If they said 5% out of your streams, you get it here. That changes the whole game because everybody's gonna pull my product and go over here.
Right.
I want a certain return back.
Yeah.
But the problem with that now is, man's like, well, hold on a dang minute. Whatever you're ready. Let's go deeper into this company. The thing about it is, when you find out something innovative, they're gonna find the way. What is it?
It's what Sheen's going through right now, right?
The way I see it, God creates a blessing, the devil destroys it and distorts it.
Okay.
Every single time. Something will start off good, and then little by little, let's strip this. Let's strip how good this product really is. Or let's take it and flip it. Let's twist it around. And
this is a part of
throw
what
some
I was talking
stuff
about.
into this, you know?
What is her name?
Which is to everybody's depression.
So this shows like we were talking about it. We never been together, but we were talking about it.
Yes, in our own
with
ways.
somebody.
Literally out the gate, what it was when Katie was asking me, how's my week been? I said, well, as of recent, I've just been like studying like satanic stuff and practices and Satanism and stuff like that.
Oh God, Lord God, that's a weird thing to start.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
But hey, the way I see it, go ahead, keep studying them satanic sitting. Go on.
But you know why? The reason why I say that is because what you just said is the reason why I was coming up on it. There was this person on Instagram Instagram, and they were talking about this lady named Marina Abramovich.
Okay.
And they were saying how like she's like this satanic person. She does all these rituals and whatever. So I sat there and I was like, okay, why are we casting this person like this, like that? You know, like
right.
So I looked her up and figured out she's like this big time artist. And what happened was what she was known for was the for the actual installation called Rhythm Zero.
Rhythm Zero, okay.
And what she did, and we are actually very much aware of this art piece installation. It's this woman who's standing, and there's a table that has a line of objects. And it says on the table, do as you wish to me.
Oh, okay.
And people come into the room, and they do all these things to her. Whether it's kiss her, they hug her, they take something and like a marker and like draw happy notes on her.
Right.
But then there's a turn as time goes on, and people no longer are doing things that are